So by now you've probably played or at least heard of Sekiro, and I was wondering whether or not a wolf build could work in Elden Ring. So why don't we find out by trying to get as close as we can to an authentic cosplay and taking it out for a spin against players and bosses. But like the video and give it to me bite-sized. So to try and make an authentic wolf cosplay, I've tried to capture his overall style, including both his weapons and the various prosthetic tools he has access to. I'll link a video to the sliders for his wolf style face, but for our equipment, you'll notice that we have 3 Negakibas equipped. This is important because Wolf will have access to a variety of tools he can use, and he can equip up to 3 prosthetic tools at once, while our weapon arts are 1 per weapon. The Negakiba is a nice alternative to the Kusabimaru used by Wolf, giving us both range, speed, and damage to destroy our opponents. Our first Negakiba is equipped with Raptors of the Mist, and this will act as our Mist Raven prosthetic tool, allowing us to teleport into the air for a jump attack from above, and I've taken the liberty of equipping this with lightning. Our second Negakiba uses Flame of the Redmanes and will act as our flame vent, allowing us to discharge a wave of fire at our opponents, and this is infused with fire. And the last Negakiba is equipped with Stormcaller, which will act as our divine abduction, stunning and damaging enemies instead of turning them around for a critical strike. And I've opted for poison because we can then pair this with our poison Wakizashi. This will act as our Sabimaru, dealing poison damage on the moveset that has a unique power stancing animation with katanas only. And lastly, I've opted for the Great Axe on a quality infusion, and this will act as our loaded axe prosthetic tool, allowing us to strike quickly for fantastic physical damage on a close ranged opponent with great stagger potential. Now I didn't want to overload myself with weapons, and I struggled to find anything fitting for the loaded spear, loaded umbrella, and the finger whistle, which didn't seem important to add, but we can use spark aromatics for the shinobi firecracker and any throwing knives of your choice for the loaded shuriken. Then looking at our armor, I figured that the altered Ronin's armor with Melania's gauntlet and the white reed greaves would be the best fit, considering we can't get an exact match, and this set will give us that rough wandering swordsman look with no helmet so we can see our character's face. And this will give us decent defense and 29 poise, which means we're prone to stagger and we'll need to be careful. Next, looking at our talismans, I've opted for the Green Turtle Talisman, the Claw Talisman, the Shard of Alexander, and the Millicent's Prophesis, which will help boost our stamina regeneration, damage, and dexterity. And these are my stats, noting that the 49 dexterity will actually be 44 due to the +5 from the Millicent's Prophesis, and this was made on a level 137 Vagabond. Now let's take it out for a spin and see how convincing it is in action. Starting off with PvE, this build is actually super fun to play as you have access to a variety of weapon arts which can spice up your combat. Obviously the damage output will depend on a variety of factors like your level, new game plus, and upgrade level, but that won't matter because with 4 different damage types and various weapon arts, you will find a chink in any opponent's armor. Raptors of the Mist is brilliant for taking advantage of our bonus jump attack damage as well as avoiding tricky to dodge attacks, and Flame of the Redmanes provides a nice ranged option that's likely to catch any enemy that tries to dodge due to its wide sweep radius. The Poison Negakiba with Stormcaller is brilliant for proccing poison when using a skill or with the offhand Wakizashi. And finally, the Great Axe is fantastic for staggering enemies quickly before they can respond for brilliant physical damage, allowing you to punish opponents that are easily staggered, or you can two-hand it for a standalone axe and its benefits like better hyper armor and damage output. Spark aromatics can be good for staggering humanoid enemies, but likely riskier against larger opponents, so use it wisely as a way to finish off an enemy with a sliver of health from a distance in combination with your throwing knives. And of course, alongside poison, we also deal bleed build-up, which will eventually trigger for massive damage, encouraging an aggressive playstyle. Now turning to PvP, this build is surprisingly effective in every way despite our low poise. I'll start off with the Great Axe, which is fantastic and surprisingly fast, as it catches enemies by surprise when you whip it out due to the weapon's short wind-up and brilliant hyper armor, which means trading is an option even when used offhand. But I like to start off with Raptors of the Mist on the Lightning Negakiba to deal some major damage, and then swap into Flame with the Redmanes if the opponent is playing it safe. The Poison Negakiba is useful when paired with the Wakizashi for when you want to proc poison or catch slippery opponents in Stormcaller. And while the poison doesn't do much damage, it's still useful for applying pressure. But other than that, there's not much more to say other than manage your spacing, as we're prone to getting staggered and of course overwhelmed at close range. We also don't have any long ranged options like Honed Bolt to catch casters, so ensure you don't get too far away from your enemies. But to wrap things up, I think this build acts as a great substitute for Wolf in Elden Ring, giving you access to swappable weapon arts on different weapons to spice up your playstyle, and offhand weapons that can ambush opponents and change the dynamic of the fight. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and of course subscribe. This is Bitesized Otaku, and I hope you enjoyed.